Today's daf is daf Chav Ches, and we're starting to talk about a makkah shel cholol, an internal makkah, which you may be Chal Shabbos, and now the Gemara is going to discussing what makkah cholol is. In fact, today's Gemara is going to be very similar to Gemara on Gittin, which is all about medicines and illnesses, and some of them I don't know what they are. But the general rule is the Shalah writes, and everyone talks about it, that the medicines the Gemara suggests might not be suitable today. In fact, most of them are not suitable today. It might even have adverse effects because the shtan of atibim, our physiology has changed from back in those days, and also some others say because we don't really fully understand what the Gemara is alluding to. So we'll just learn. And some of the things I'm not exactly sure what kind of herbs they are, and so or even what the sickness is. So we're up to the Gemara Choches Amar Aleph, and we're discussing a makkah shel cholol, an internal makkah. Tracy says any part of inner cavity. Says the Gemara, we're up to the here we are. Mehechan makkah shel cholol. There's about 10 lines from the top of the page. The Gemara wants to know, where does it start? That's makkah shel cholol. Where does the internal start? From your lips and inwards, that's considered an internal wound. Boy, and until for Shabbos, Shabbos on that. Boy, Rabbi question, what about Kavi? What about Shini? Shini is teeth, and Kavi, according to Rashi, are gums, and according to Traces, definitely it's not gums. And Traces' whole is talking about this large teeth and the small teeth. Even the kushninu kemaka debroidam, because they're strong, therefore they consider an outer makkah. Even the gavoy kind, the fact that they're inside your lips, kemaka shecholdam. If you're in pain, maybe it's like a makkah shechol, and you're allowed to take medicine on Shabbos and more. Omar Abai Toshma. The reason why you're not taking medicine on Shabbos is midrabbanon. We're scared you're going to grind it next time. So that's also the rabbanon. Then obviously yeah. So that's also midrabbanon. It's like zero only, and then you have Yisurim deraisa. So if you invite to Toshma, come in here. If somebody, let's say, has a problem, they think they have an issue with their teeth, they shouldn't drink vinegar. Sounds like only because you suspect that you have a problem with your teeth. If you not take medicine, I mean, talk about taking vinegar and spitting it out, which even food, you not take food if it's medicinal. But people eat it as well. But he's choishish. He thinks he has pain. In other words, he's not sure if it's serious or not serious. So therefore, he shouldn't be taking medicine. Yeah, but you don't know what. Yeah, but you don't know if it's what it is. So it sounds from here. He only has a slight pain and he doesn't know what it is. But if let's say you have strong pain, then you allowed to take medicines. Isn't that right? That's internal, because internal will be said before. Makkah shechol, you not only have to take medicine, you can even do chil Shabbos. So it's not right from here. How do you judge a lot of pain, little pain? So you use the expression chayshish. But could be someone when you have a lot of pain. That's why it's considered a makkah shechol. So the Gemara, right up to the Gemara, we're going to go through all kinds of sicknesses in today's Gemara, and what is considered makkah shechol, and what you're allowed to be Chal Shabbos for, Yisur Rabbanon for, and so on. Says the Gemara, Tashma learned, Rabbi Yechon had a sickness with his teeth. Also, the Gabat him with Nisa. He went to this matronisa, to this woman, this matriarch of the, for a cure, because he was in terrible pain of his teeth. Of the Chamisha Umala Shabbat, she gave him medicine on Thursday, gave him medicine on Friday, and Amalel Mochan Shabbos, Mai. He went to her, no, I need something for Shabbos. She said, you no longer need any medicine. You'll be cured already for the 2 days of my potions, my secret potions. So Rabbi Yechon said to her, I need tzarichna mai. Whatever I needed, give me the medicine just in case. She said, this is the most difficult Gemara. She said to him, swear to me that you won't reveal anybody my secret recipe, because I didn't make one for you, so I'll have to give it to you. Swear. He swore to the God of the Eden. Sorry, I swore to the God of Eden, I will not reveal your secret potion. And Galyule. So she went and revealed it to him. Lemachar on Shabbos, Nofak Dorsha Bepirka. He went out and he dashed in front of everybody. You want to know how to make this medicine if you have a toothache or probably the gums? This is what you do. He swore to her. Lelakodi Yisroel Meglina, Velama Yisroel Meglina. He plays with words. I'm not going to reveal it to the Ebershter because he knows anyway. I'm going to reveal it what, but to everybody else. But okay, maybe he didn't breach a shvur because you're being very pedantic in what he said. But Chachil Hashem, you go lo mikara. You hear this? Go figure out something more. As soon as she gave him the secret, he said, "Okay, guy, I'm going to tell everybody." Very difficult to understand this Gemara. Yeah, exactly. That's right. But it's just like hard to understand the Gemara. But the Gemara is asking the question here, and the Gemara seems happy with his answer. And then there's a homachleik and others whether she actually became a gay because of this, or she got angry and she whatever, she did other things, opposites. Anyway, the bottom line of all this is he was going to use it on Shabbos. Alma kamakach choldam, he was a toothache, and it was a makar shachol. Shiny tzapdina. Tzapdina is very different, some kind of toothache. It's kind of a sickness that starts in your mouth and goes to your intestines. Today they say that your heart is actually attached to your teeth, and that you can get if people don't take care of the teeth as they're growing up, they can have cause adverse effects to your heart as well. My simone, what's the simon to know if you have the sickness or not? The Gemara. Good. Rami midi bekovi. You place something on your gums with ashland, small teeth. Umaisi domam beidori, and you bring blood from the rows of your teeth, and therefore, if it's bleed, if your gums bleed, that means that you have issues, and that's what's called sapdina. And you got to take care of it because it can go all the way down to it can affect internally as well. So anyways, you put anything on your teeth and it makes it bleed. What causes it? Either eat cold wheat in the wintertime, or mechamim is a sari. He eats hot barley or mishiyuda kosa the hasana. The fish that was fried in that fats that together mixes with the fish oils, and you eat that, and that's what causes this gum decay. My of delay. So what's exactly now? The more wants to know. Tell the whole world what's the potion. This is the potion. Mix of yeast water, oil, olive oil, and melech and salt. You mix the two together. But it doesn't give you measurements. In today's medicines, if you don't get exactly the measurements, it's garnished.
You kick around with it.
Maybe if it's right, you go to chemistry lab and try it out. Anyway, so that's what the potion was made up of. Some want to say that the reason why she was so impressed with Rabbi Yochanan is he didn't do it for money. She made a living out of this, and he could have now stolen her medications and done the same thing, make a living. Instead, he gave it away to everybody for free. We'll have like chat, it's like chat. What do you call it? Chat, the AI that made it for free now for everybody to go in and use it. It's for free. Mabarabashi says, you know what the potion was? Mashcha the avza, a kashka's oil, a goose, the oil of a goose, fats of a goose, and begat for the avza with the wings or the feathers of a goose. So they don't even know for sure what her medicine was. We already have a machlikas of what her medicine was. I did all that. It's a Gojik Holford. Until I met another an Arab. I see kashiosa as he brought me the pips of olives. The molotils, I wasn't a third ready. The kolonu, and then I go ahead and I had to burn it. I'm in a brand new shovel or like a hoe. The double bay, and then I had to attach it beidori to my teeth. And that somehow worked. That wasn't her potion. So here you already see the Nishtano Hatibim for Rabbi Yochanan to Abaye. So Shola said, using medicines, because you see already in just 2 generations, already what was a medicine for times of Rabbi Yochanan is no longer medicine times of Abaye. You have to change. You can find new medicines. Any makkah which is serious stuff, we're going through a whole bunch of medicines today and antidotes which you shouldn't be using. So the chayda Rabbi Yochanan, we learned before that any makkah that your life is in danger, you should not go to a goy to get healed. So how come he went? Well, it says Adam Chashav Shiny, because he's a distinguished person, she won't do anything wrong because she knows she can get in big trouble. But Abu Adam Chashav, Abu is Adam Chashav, and yet he's very Adam Chashav. We learn, that they all came out singing songs when he got smicha and all that, and he was very close to the royal authority. Nevertheless, the Ramale Yaakov Mino Sama Ashake, and Yaakov's Yaakov the Min, Apikaitis, went ahead and gave him a medicine and placed it on his thigh. And the Eloi, look at this, Rab Ami Rab Asi. If Rab Ami Rab Asi would not have lachkua licked it off, the shake, his thigh, pascal the shake, he would have lost it. Interesting, it didn't affect them. If it was poison and you lick it, why won't it affect you? Unless it's somehow only an external poison on the outside of the foot that does something to the foot itself, to the skin.
Maybe it's cigarette.
Or maybe lost its whatever it was, the venom, the potency, yeah. But anyway, that it was very brave on their part, and they saved his life. Or so at least saved his foot. So what right? So what's the chilik? And then look, we see the Adam Chashav going to hold him. The guy tried to hurt him. This woman was an expert in her field, and we learned before that expert in her field doesn't want to tarnish her name. She'll do the right thing. Also was an expert. The mukbe beimine benafshayu. He there was an apokaitis. Remember, an apokaitis is worse than a goy. Before we have apokaitis was a goy, because apokaitis is going to try to get you to draw you into his sphere of believing in Avodah Zarah. As we had in cases yesterday that you have to mention Avodah Zarah and all that. Here, this means such a tzlachnik. He believed Thomas Nafshi and Plishtim. I know I'll get in trouble and I'll get punished. Abida Babu get punished, got hurt as well. So, so that's a mean is different than Oiver Kacham. How much was the Shmuel? Shmuel says that this padaita, that is, we got hit with a sword, sakanti is a sakana, umechal as a Shabbos. Anything we got hit with destroying metals, he brought in Shabbos, is big kill Shabbos. Maya susa, so what is the cure? The mifsik dom, in order first to stop the blood, let's say if you're bleeding excessively, is tachli bechola, you take cress and you dip it into vinegar. That's number one. You put it there, and somehow or another stems the flow of blood. Lasuki, now you want to heal it. Okay, that stops the blood. Now you want to heal it. Is you put in garda divla? You put in some kind of a herb. It's called yivla, whatever that is. And the garda, you pull it out with the root from the ground. And what is it? Garda divla begidda asna, and also take out from the thorn bush. You mix it through together. And somehow or another you mix it together. Nikra mekilkul, so you take some of the dirt of the soil that has worms still crawling in it, and you put them all together. And somehow or another, and you put it on your arm, wherever you were hit, and that has a skin, causes the skin to graft, to cover it. Rab Safra said, "High inverse pravanka, high inverse, this big boil." A big boil on somewhere on your body is pravanka de malacha de misusu. This is the shliach of the malach hamavos. A boil somehow or another can endanger your life. Is maya so what do? You take tigna beduvsha, you take another herb called tigna, and you mix it in and you grind it into honey, or karpas, and the machlek of karpas is parsley or celery. You take karpas betilaya, and you take karpas and you mix it with very strong wine, and you make some kind of a mixture of the two together, and then you place on the boil. If someone comes, the boil reduces in size. Oh, but what about the hochi? This takes time. The value, your life is in danger. What's going on? What do? Is later you bring inversa bas mina. You bring a grape the same size as the size of your boil. If you have a big boil, get a big grape. If it's a small boil, get a small grape. Then you place on it whether it's and you roll all over it. Whether if it's a white boil, then you place a white grape, and if it's a red boil, you place a red grape. And a red one to a dark one, a dark one. High simta, he says that this simta, this is another kind of a sickness, is pravanka de ashli. This is the shliach of fever. there's a sign that this is like a foreboding that this is coming, forewarning that this is coming soon. Is Maya Susa? What's the thing? This is interesting cure. So it is?
It's worse. It's a pus temple.
A pus thing, okay. So you have a pus thing. So how do you reduce the pus? Is lemichia shisin is katulu. This is what you do. You snap your finger 60 times, and you hit your thing. Shisin will you hit you with your thumb 60 times. I guess it slowly causes it to get smaller and smaller. And you have some force here. When you snap your finger, you're having some force. The licata, and then you tear open the boil, the pus, the pimple. Shiva ate it. Yeah, the length and then the width. The honey immediately so talking about that was I guess the pus didn't get totally there in the front. That means pus means it's really coming to an end, and you don't have to do that. Rabbi Yaakov, she was sick, but Pika somehow in the Uranus is some where it comes out from something there. Rabbi told him, gave him a medicine. Rabbi say Rabasi, we should take Shev Beni all 7 seeds of this thing called alloy. To learn of it, and you should wrap it up with a piece of material that you cut out from your shirt. They used to cover the whole thing, and they used to tear out the hole where you put around your neck. You use that piece of cloth, the likara wrap it around it, and nida barka, a hair of an animal, and the tomishle benatfa, and then you go ahead and you soak it in native, chibra white, and the likole, and then you go and burn it, and then you smear it all over it. This takes a long time to do. What do you do in the meantime? And you have to go to the bathroom. All that is lacy. Bring kasher, so that as you bring seeds of whatever grows on a snare on a thorn bush, and lina pika lahade pika, and you make and this seed has a slit. You put that slit opposite to your slit, and you place it there. So you rub it against the hani milit pika law. That's the external slit. Pika. What about if the sickness is in the inner slit? My lysi, you bring tarba of fats that's pirta. In Russia, pirta is actually a goat. You would have thought it's a bird. The goat after never gave birth yet. The lefasha, and you melt it. You take the fats, you melt it. The lish de bay, and you place it there. The eloy, and if you don't have access to that, lysi plas tarfa, you bring 3 leaves of the gourd family, and the meyavshibetula that dried up in the shade, and the likli, and you go ahead and you burn it, the levadula, you spread it all over it, you scatter it all over it. The loy, you don't have access to that. Lysa, you bring meshakti chalazoni, you bring from the chalazon, hairs from the chalazon. Now, I don't know, if you couldn't get those things, how in the world are you going to find hairs of a chalazon? But obviously, it was available in those days. And that doesn't. If you don't have that, maisi, you bring mashach kira. You bring olive oil together with wax mixed together. The linkoid b'shacha kisla, and you use the remnants of flax bekait in the summer, so it's not too hot, or the amagufna from cotton besisva in the winter, and you use that to spread it over you. He had a problem with his ear. He had an earache. Told him, somebody told him what to do. What did they tell him? Like Abaye said, the woman who raised him said, and obviously she's a very clever woman because Abaye continuously quotes her. Like even a kulyasa, the purpose of the kidneys are ela udna for the ear. That's why you have 2 kidneys, even though one of them is not necessary because the kidneys support your ears. I wonder if modern day science says the same thing. Rabbi says, Rabbi, will be changed. Rabbi says, the doctor told me that kulu shakainu kosher udnam. He says that all kinds of drinks are bad for your ears. Levad, except the maya the kulu. So the only one that really cures your ears if you take the kidney, you roast it, and the water that oozes out of it, and you put it in your ear. Laisi kuyus of the barcha. Bring a kuya of a sheep. Karcha that has no wool on it, so it's bald. And with the kaddish ate it. and you rip it open, the kidney, vertically and horizontal. The leinech, and place it amal on coal, burning coal, burning embers. The hanu maya the nafkamine, and that liquid that oozes out from that kidney, you put in the air like not too hot, not too cold, not hot. It should be lukewarm. Vila, you don't have access to that. Lysi, then you bring tarba the chipushta, you bring some kind of fats of a gmalnis, of a large one. I'm not sure what chipushta is, a large one. Vili pasher, and you let it melt, velishtabe, and you place it on your ear. Vila, and if that doesn't work, lemali luudne mishcha, then fill in the oil in your ear. V'le'eved shev psulta da safsata, you put oil in your ear, and then you bring 7 wicks of the safsata is like wheat that hasn't really grown, and
garlic. Shum, garlic.
of psula safsata. No,
She says
no.
Rashi says it's yerek shulchit.
Yeah, it's wheat. Later on, it's going to go.
Yeah.
And then Velasi, then bring shufta the tumor. Then you bring, if you look at the stalks, they even sell them. These green, like these garlic, whatever they're called, garlic chives. So you have these green shoots that come out of the garlic. Use those. Use 7 of those. Bring shufta the tumor. Bring now these these things that you pull the garlic out of the ground. So you have these handles there. Belesa barka and bechad reisha. You take again the hair of an animal on one side, velikle beinoida, and you light it up. The idach reisha, and then on the other side, moisha bod you place in your ear. Belesa oidna lahad noida, then you place this your ear as close as possible to the fire, but you doya mezika. Make sure you don't get too close; you'll burn your ear. And then benishkol choda. You take, remember we took seven of them. So you after you finish with one, you take it, to get rid of it, you replace it with another one. That's one version of what you should do. Lishna acharina, another lesson is v'ilo. If not, laisi bring shev psulta. You bring 7 strings of bikra. You bring 7 strings of bikra. I'm not sure what that is. V'shayifle mishcha dasafta.
Wicks. Hair of an animal.
Oh, sorry, hair of an animal. Okay. And you smear on it that oil that we said before. The nice chadresh of you place one in the fire, chadresh with one end of those wicks in your ear. After that, you take one, get rid of one, and you put the other one in. Again, be careful you don't get burnt. The Eloy here doesn't say you put your head next to the fire. Just be careful of the wicks, they don't get too hot. The Eloy, that doesn't work. Like another, that doesn't work. Then bring a another. That's colored fabric, colored let's say material, wool, and the loy mashkif that is not yet soaked with oil. The nanaba place it there, but then you put your ear close to the fire. Be careful you don't get burnt. Be loy if you don't have that. Laisi gufsa the kanya, you bring a reed, like a pipe of a reed, a straw. Atika an old one by meishnin. How you find 100-year-old reed? I don't know. In this tube.
Put them away the first night, kid.
True. Very good. And you take these big pieces of salt, like a marble, and you place it on it with the kali, and then you burn it with the dabik, and you attach it to your ear with simanach, and the siman is ritiva. All those medicines which are gave you different ideas for medicines. Every medicine is a different thing. So for parts of your body that are dry, you need dry medicines. Ritiva liyabashta, a moist medicine for the dry parts, and liyabashta, a dry one, ritiva for a moist part. So we said, for example, before we said oil and what do you call it? We said you place oil and fats, you put them by your in the dry part of your body.
Actually, that part is still taught if you're in dermatology or something. Yeah, if it's a moist lesion, you try to dry it. If it's a dry lesion, you moisten it with creams and things. Yeah.
Okay, so they got it from right here. What about all the other medicinal advice we had so far? You teach that today?
No, I'm just listening to it.
Okay. Anything else that, by the way, that you studied today, pointed out to us, please.
Okay.
Rabbi Zut said, he said, Mailim Oznaim b'Shabbos. Now, this is interesting. No, it means lift your ears. Sometimes the ears droop down. No, what it means, the way Rashi learns is sometimes if you yawn, I don't know if it ever happens to you, you make such a big yawn that for a second you feel you can't close your mouth. So it seemed that in those days, and maybe even today, that sometimes you make such a big yawn that your mouth gets stuck, your jaws you lock your jaws, and you can't. So we call that the lift for years. You can't lock your jaws, and it's all one piece. So so he says that what you do is Milam as nine b'Shabbos. You can lift your ears, your jaws on Shabbos. But not how. It's Tani Rab Shmuel Bar Yehuda B'Yad. He says do it by hand. Avaloi b'Sam. Don't use medicines. Because medicine on Shabbos also is abundant, and if you have an alternative, use the alternative. And you can have just opposite. The Sam, use a medicine, Avodah because not alternative. My time, but why not your hand? Because Miziv Zariv, because sometimes you might actually make a wound by doing that. Do a wound in Shabbos, and he says the Raisa. But poison is only Rabbanon, so let's use poison. Even though that's like a Vada Rabbanon, you're over the Rabbanon, and it's a suffix, it might be over the Raisa, better do the Vada. And in fact, that is the machlekes of Sneers too. If you have a choice of doing an Isa Vada Rabbanon or a suffix Raisa, and you're allowed to do something for whatever, saving yourself, which one should you do? Which is the lesser Aveda? And it seems from here that's exactly what the argument is. Because Sam is definitely Isa Rabbanon, Yad is a suffix Raisa. Says the Gemara, if your eye rebelled, you'll have to put medicine there on Shabbos. The what?
If you do it by hand, it should be a Rabban. Not sure hand is not enough.
A hand is something Raisa, because you look at the next opinion. Why can't you do it by hand? So Rashi says it because you might make a chabura, and there's more chil Shabbos. But putting shir sam is only the Isra Rabbanon for medicine. So basically, what it boils down to is Avada the Rabbanon you're going to be over versus Safik the Raisa for nothing. Maybe you won't be over anything. What's a lesser Aveda?
If he's a mumcha,
that's another claw that most people would be mumcha. Why would you be mumcha on yourself?
Sorry?
Why would you be a mumcha on yourself? You're doing it on yourself.
Oh, he's a doctor, surgeon of some sort. He knows how to reset the bone or control.
And that gufa, which is great, which is a lesser aveda, safed the Raisa avada rabbanon, is totally machlek the Rambam and the Rashba. Why is safed the Raisa l'chumra? Is it mahatay l'chumra medrabban l'chumra? If it's medrabban l'chumra, then the avada rabbanon is what do you call it? Is might be considered a sorry. If it's a safed the Raisa mahatay l'chumra, then it's a bigger aveda to do the safed the Raisa. Because the Torah says don't do it. Then this Vada Rabban. But if it's a suffix, if it's a suffix the Rabban and there's only Rabban Luchumra, then a Vada Rabban will be worse than a suffix Rabban. So you want to I'm the Rabban. I'll just skip the line. Ayin Shemarda. If an eye rebelled, Mutter Lekoich B'Shabbos. Some of them had me who some money. We thought that what it means is that you grind. That you already ground your medicine for yesterday. It's only a question of Isa Rabbanon. But to let him do it, he said that I said to grind on Shabbos because your eye rebelled. No, but because it introduces the according to some of the Shainim, if you look for another, everything is broken down there. One of them is a Sakanas Aver. You have a Sakanas Kala Goof of Makachol, Sakanas Aver, and then you have Tam, you're very sick, you're lying in bed, you're sick. Sakanas Aver is sort of in between, which is based on this going right here. An eye that rebels. Is that a Sakanas Aver or Sakanas Kalaguf? So you might have thought only if you prepare Sakanas Aver, you're allowed to do Yisurim Rabban. You're allowed to go ahead and take medicine all that. Shabbos to do a Yisra Shabbos, I was to carry through Shrabi and light. On the Rabban Yaakov Shmei, the demon fashion made that view. I understood that feeling Mishka Shabbos, even on Shabbos, you let it grind. But I should remember Mutter, so Mutter, because a Sakanas Aver is like a Sakanas Kalaguf. Rabbi Yehuda, Shari. Rabbi Yehuda allowed the B'Chaim Shabbos. He said it's a kind of kalaguf, and he allowed it. Yehuda, man size Yehuda. Whoever listens to Yehuda, Machal Shabbos, the Machal Shabbos. That was his wrong. Strong words, not just time. He argues. He said, if you follow him, I'm sure no people deterred from doing it. The Saif at the end, Chosh Be'eda, he himself had this problem. Yehuda, Shalach Lei, he sent a letter to Yehuda. I need a psak. Shadi or Yasa, can I go ahead and do this Shabbos or not? Shalach Lei, Sabir answered back. I guess he's an angry person. But for you it's us. And you know why? Because you think what I say is my own name. I heard this from my Rebbe Shmuel. So there was a maid, a dinst, that we made by Shmuel, that worked for the house of Shmuel, the Korchele in the Bishabata, that her eye heated up on Shabbos and had terrible pain. Tzavcha, she screamed, V'leket Ashba. Everyone said, it'll be all right, it'll be all right. And then later, Poka Eina, her eye burst. Lamocha, the following day, nothing mashmul v'dorish. He went out and dashed, and ayin shemurdif, an eye repelled. You have a lot of pain in the eye. Mutter lekirchel b'Shabbos. You allowed to do all these things in Shabbos. My time of why? Why allowed to do in Shabbos? Because the shuraina, the eina, beuvnus the lekker tali. Sorry, beuvnus the liber tali. That your eye is attached to your heart, and therefore it's a conus nefashis. And if you allowed to do all these things in Shabbos, how can you tell? What kind of pain are we talking about over here that you mutter on Shabbos? So he says here, let's say it's running all the time, or something, a lesion is growing out of it, or ditza, it's stabbing, or dama, there's blood, or dimasa, it's tearing all the time, or vikitcha, it's very hot. Or now this is an interesting thing here, but chilas oichla, only if it's starting out. Then you let me mechal shav do that. If it's already coming to an end, then there's no point doing anything anyhow. It's coming to an end on its own. Let's say you want to open your eyes, you want to make it see better, and therefore, if you want to put in medicine now at the end just to make it see better.